I'm Emily Campagno. I'm joined by my co-host Harris Faulkner. Also with us here in studio, Carly Shimkus, former State Department spokeswoman Morgan Ortagus, and in the center seat, special report anchor Brett Baer. Now, this all comes as the VP faces heavy criticism over the fact that kid actors were used in the video in scenes like this one. Watch.
I wonder who the head of the Space Council is. Are you kidding? The head of the Space Council is the vice president!
My mom was a scientist, so I just love the idea of exploring the unknown. You're gonna literally see the craters on the moon with your own eyes.
Oh my goodness.
With your own eyes, I'm telling you, it is gonna be unbelievable. Please dream with ambition. Have big dreams.
And Morgan, she's also the border czar. So here we have her trotting around with child actors in Canada and ignoring what we're about to show a photo of, which is dozens of unaccompanied migrant children abandoned at the border. She has maintained, she is dedicated to underserved children, and yet there were no real children interested in space on that video who she could have lifted up, and she ignores suffering children on the southern border.
Yeah, did any of you guys watch the show Veep? Does anybody remember that? I love that show. I thought it was really funny. And when I read this story yesterday, a guy who works for me sent me this story, and I just immediately texted back, no way. No way, this can't be real. Listen, we had our share of issues in the Trump administration. I called it sometimes, it felt like a cross between the West Wing and Veep. But I mean, poor Kamala Harris and her staff, it's just every week's a new Veep episode. And there's just things a lot of times where I think it's just poor staff work. Like you don't need to hire children, child actors. In fact, normally if a corporation does that in a commercial, they actually have to disclose. And you would see in the commercial and regulated font that's mandated by the regulators, these are child actors, that sort of thing. So it's just like constantly missteps by the staff that I don't understand. And then just a performance. Listen, there's a reason that regular big time actors always say, don't act with kids in a movie. And I think when you see the vice president's acting in this particular NASA video, you know why they say that.
Oh, they're chanting, directed at President Biden at big sporting events these days. And all across America, it was pouring out at college games and elsewhere, including this weekend's Arkansas-Ole Miss game. This is the president and his fellow Democrats are hit with more bad poll numbers. Most Americans now view the Republican Party as better than the Democratic Party on several key issues. The newest Gallup found this. Americans say Republicans are better able to protect the nation from international threats by a 54% to 39% margin. The same poll found Americans believe the GOP is better to keep the country prosperous by a 9-point margin. Look, it's on your screen right now. Gallup says these are the GOP's widest margins ahead of the Dems on either issue in the past 6 years. And if the polls were not negative enough, today's New York Post detailing the slew of scandals hitting the Biden administration in just the first 9 months. The paper calling it Joe Biden's Cabinet of Horrors. Oh, another movie title, Morgan.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, I think what you're seeing across the country is really an enthusiasm gap. Republicans and independents, if you look at all of the latest polling on independents, where the president has taken a double-digit dip in favorability with independents. If you look across the country, especially in races like Virginia, where Terry McAuliffe is running again, he might be the first victim, so to speak, of this enthusiasm gap. But also, what I found really interesting, I talked to someone at the NRCC today, which is the Republican version of running congressional seats, and to sort of back up this, sense of being able to take back the House and maybe the Senate next year. There's 180 women candidates running around the country as a Republican, 155 minority candidates, and 163 candidates who are veterans. And those are record numbers for the NRCC, and I think that's just one little tidbit to show where the mindset of the Republican Party is versus that of the Democratic Party right now.
Yeah, and for McAuliffe, if only it were just a lack of enthusiasm, Youngkin, the Republican, is giving him a run for his money right now. Jon Stewart says cancel culture isn't real. The former Daily host show or show host, pushing back on the idea that people can be canceled for sharing their honest opinions. Here he is.
People that talk about cancel culture never seem to shut the up about it. Look, the internet has democratized criticism. What do we do for a living? We talk, we criticize, we postulate, we opine, we make jokes, and now other people are having their say. And that's not cancel culture, that's relentlessness.
Morgan, is he right or wrong?
So I think the difference is, I think he's wrong on this. And I think the difference is here is the ability of someone to have money or celebrity following. Like, look at Dave Chappelle over the past week, for example. He's got enough star power over decades of being in the entertainment industry. Netflix backed him up, even though people tried to cancel him. I think the real danger of this movement is for average people, average Americans who feel like they can no longer express a political opinion. Of course, no one should be expressing any opinions that are racist or misogynistic or homophobic. You shouldn't do that, but you have a right in this country under the First Amendment to do so. You may just look like an idiot if you do it.
A growing number of people say that work is invading their sleep. Workers are having dreams and in some cases nightmares about their jobs. But here's the good news, you guys. Experts say these dreams can actually help you think creatively, solve problems, and even help your career. Brett, have you been dreaming about Fox lately?
Okay, first of all, I've had some dreams about the handover from the 5. It's a bit of a nightmare. It depends on if Greg is doing it or who's doing it. I have had some dreams where I'm running to the anchor desk and like I'm running late and the countdown clock is going. Wow. And I think that might get me in the seat faster, next time.
Yeah, it works. My favorite handoff, by the way, was when we said something about clean up on aisle 5, and then you go, that's what I do every night. And I literally have never laughed that hard. We were like, oh, it was amazing. It was brilliant.
It's really fast.
Morgan, what about you? Any nightmares or any dreams?
Well, first I have to say the best handoff ever from the 5 with Brett was whenever he said that my granny was a hottie. And that lives in infamy. My grandma's still the biggest fan of Brett Baer ever since. But back to the subject. I hate whenever I dream about work. It drives me nuts. But I actually don't normally dream about work or school. If I'm stressed, I dream that my husband did something wrong, and I wake him up and I tell him while I'm mad at him.
I've done that.
He's like, but it's a dream.
Really?
So wow. I try to watch like Seinfeld or Friends or something before bed, so I stop thinking about life.
That's hysterical. Yeah, I love the blaming the spouse for fictional dreams.
My husband's name is Pete. He's like, that was Dream Pete.
Wow. Brett Baer, everybody can watch this before they pick up the book or do it after because it's on Fox Nation. Go to foxnation.com and sign up today for that opportunity. And get the book, the newest by Brett Baer, To Rescue the Republic. Thanks for joining us.
Thank
America
you.
Reports is now.